Okay, I'm going to play. Oh, then we have somebody else to let in. So as I'm just letting I'm glad to see we have a bunch of people to let in. All right, well, welcome everybody. I can't believe that I don't even know what the date is, but I know it's July. What is it, the 6th today? No, 7th. 7th, it's flying by. I cannot believe it. I hate to say before we know we're going to be back at school, but anyway, welcome everybody to our Tuesday calls. Today we have Bethann Vergean back with us from UConn, so we're really excited. We're going to talk about positive parenting?
Positive parenting.
Yes, I'm very excited. I was just given a thing. I said, my son's older, but still anyway, he left and I know I said the wrong thing. So positive parenting is something that we can all use just to kind of, I laugh because, sorry, Maren, I'm throwing you under the bus. One of our coworkers is on here and she has a little one. And I said, geez, only if I had some of this stuff back then, it's always good to have these refreshers and to think about it from a different perspective. So
yes.
Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'll let you introduce yourself with your full title. Besides just working at the UCEDD at UConn, and I'll let you take it away.
So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bethann Vergean, and I work at the UConn Center on Excellence in Developmental Disability. So that's the UConn UCEDD. My job here is I work on all things early childhood. I am also an ambassador for the CDC so I do a lot of focusing on children's development, developmental monitoring, developmental screening, and then really disseminating important materials. So the videos, a lot of this that I'm going to share today is actually videos that the CDC has put together in regards to positive parenting. So these are really, there's so many videos out there, but I love these. They're very engaging and they're more realistic to what we want families to work on when it comes to social emotional development. So I will be sharing these great videos that they have. So one area that we talk about is giving children specific praise. And I want to share the video and then we can talk a little bit more about what we see. I just want to make sure that I'm sharing my computer sound. And let's start with this video. So there's a few videos we're going to share today.
Welcome to this Strategies for Positive Parenting example of giving specific praise. In this video, you'll observe how praise can be used effectively to encourage a child's positive behavior. Giving specific praise means praising the child's positive behavior and effort right when the child is behaving the way that you want them to. The family has just finished dinner. Mom and Dad are cleaning the dishes while their daughter, Olivia, is playing in the living room. Let's find out what happens.
Dad, can you help me build a castle?
In just a minute. I have to help clean up first.
Dad, I need your help.
Almost done. I'll be there soon. I like how you put the biggest blocks on the bottom. That looks like a good, strong base for the castle. Good job figuring out how to make that green piece fit. That was hard. I'm all done. Can I help you build your castle?
Yes, take that piece and put it over there.
Did you catch what happened? Olivia really wanted to play with her dad, and when he couldn't join her right away, she started getting upset. You can see how it might get worse and end up with misbehavior. Her dad noticed and effectively used praise to give attention to Olivia's positive behaviors. The praise was specific, focused on her behaviors and effort, and Dad used it right away. Check out the other strategies for positive parenting examples for preventing and addressing misbehavior.
So I love that video. It reminds me of my 7-year-old son who does it all the time to get my behavior. Get my attention. If I'm cleaning dishes and I'll say, can we do this? And I'll say, okay, just give me, 5 minutes. I need to finish the dishes. And then he'll do anything for my attention. So a lot of times what I think is really important is that we want to look children in the eye when we're praising them. We want to acknowledge that, I know it's tough to wait, but let me just finish what I'm doing. We want to choose our words wisely. So, always saying, I know you're being so patient waiting for me. Thank you so much. Or, for an example of you're trying so hard to be a big girl and put those socks on. I can help you with that. And then you can slip your rain boots on by yourself. So really giving encouraging words, even though they are deflated and frustrated with us. So giving that praise really helps. And then another great way of praising is applauding children's individual strengths. So I know that sometimes children get disappointed when they see another child do something better than they can. So here's an example, yes, Timmy kicks the ball a further way than you do, but I noticed that you can run real fast. So really just shifting that disappointment to, but even though you can't do this, you can really do this. So that really helps. And then paying attention to those little things. Children thrive on attention, and it makes them feel important and nurtured when we acknowledge. So even if it's, they put their fork in the sink, or they picked up something, or they closed the door when they were walking out. Oh, I thank you so much for helping me close the door. I appreciate your help. So praise is everything, and it builds their confidence as well. So our next one we're going to go over is using planned ignoring. So how do we ignore those behaviors that we don't want children to have? So this is another great video that I'm going to share.
Welcome to this Strategies for Positive Parenting example of using planned ignoring. In this video, you'll observe how planned ignoring can be used to discourage negative child behaviors. Planned ignoring means not giving attention to an annoying behavior or minor misbehavior, and looking for a chance to give attention to the behavior you want. Olivia and her mom are brushing their teeth and getting ready for their day. Let's find out what happens.
Okay, time to brush your teeth.
Did you give me the sparkle blue toothpaste?
Of course.
Yummy. Wow. La 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 la.
Olivia is getting distracted, but because the behavior isn't dangerous or highly emotional, her mom is ignoring it and not reinforcing it with eye contact or attention. Instead, she's going to find a way to give attention to the behavior she wants. Let's see what happens next.
Great job brushing to the beat of the song. That helped us get ready faster.
Yeah, that was fun. Can we do it again next time?
Sure.
Did you catch what happened? Olivia got distracted and was playing around instead of brushing her teeth. At first, her mom actively ignored her behavior by not rewarding that behavior with attention. Then, her mom used brushing to the rhythm of a song to make the desired behavior look more fun. Afterwards, her mom praised her right away for brushing her teeth. Next time, Olivia will be more likely to brush her teeth instead of stalling. Check out the other strategies for positive parenting examples for preventing and addressing misbehavior.
So I think we can say that ignoring behaviors sometimes is really hard as a parent, especially for an example, if you're out in public and your child decides to throw themselves in the middle of the grocery store. I really think that's a harder thing to ignore. But, you know, planned ignoring is paying no attention to what the child is doing, is misbehaving, because most times behavior is a way of communication. They're trying to tell you something. So if you're not paying attention to them, they're going to find ways to poke and get your attention. So if we ignore those behaviors that are more in a safe way, that's the best way to handle them. An example is if you're having a family meal and your child is bouncing up and down on their seat, you could leave them out of the conversation and not look at them until he stops. And once they do stop, you can say, I love how you're sitting in your chair so nicely. Why don't you tell us about your day today? And that really, really helps, because they know that once you're ignoring them, that, you know, it's beyond the attention seeking. Planned ignoring works too when you're, because your attention is a big reward for children. So when they want your attention really bad, they find every way possible, whether it's positive or negative, to get it. If your child behaves in a way, a particular way, gets your attention, he's likely to behave that way again. So, but if we ignore those behaviors, and it'll less likely happen, and then we give positive attention for those great behaviors. So another topic that we're going to talk about is taking a time out. So I really like this video. It's a great example of the timeout. So let's watch it, and then we can talk about a little bit afterwards.
Welcome to this Strategies for Positive Parenting example of taking a timeout. Taking a timeout is giving a child time away from all attention and other interesting things children find rewarding to help them change their behavior. In this video, you'll observe how a timeout can be used as an effective way to reduce problem behaviors in young children. The family is playing a board game in the living room. Let's find out what happens.
Oh no, I'm moving backwards.
That's okay, Mommy. Now I'm winning. Your turn, Daddy.
Daddy crossed the finish line first. Daddy wins! And we still have time to play one more game.
Daddy didn't win. I'm winning. See? He's behind me now.
Yay for Daddy! Maybe we'll win next time, Olivia. Do you want to clean up or play again?
No, I want, not Daddy.
I'm sorry, sweetie.
I don't know what happened. Our video stalled here.
Technical difficulties, it happens.
I know. Right? It's such a great video too. Let me see if I can.
Welcome to this Strategies for
Let me see what I can do here.
While you're doing that, I will remind everybody that you're currently muted, but if you have any questions along the way, there'll be a time for questions and answers, I'm sure, at the end. But if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat box
for Positive Parenting.
Just raise your hand and we'll answer them.
Parenting example of
Winning. See?
Yeah, I'm definitely having some video technical. So I can.
Daddy didn't win. I'm winning.
We can kind of just talk about, I'll explain the video a little bit, but as you could see, Olivia, the little girl, she didn't, was upset that she didn't win. And so she was saying, well, he didn't win, I won, which is typical young children behavior. The fact that if they don't win at something or there's not an even balance, they get a little frustrated. And can be a little demanding of, well, hey, this is my time and I'm gonna win this time. And then sometimes children change the rules too in the middle of the game because they know that they're gonna lose. But in this video, she gets a little tough with her parents, and her parents tell her that she kind of needs to go to her room and take a breather for a few minutes. And then she wasn't very happy with that. But once she came back, they talked about the situation of winning and losing, and that we all need to have a turn. But I want to share a good rule about doing timeouts, and some people may believe in timeouts, maybe people don't. But I think it's important that sometimes when we talk about children's self-regulation, that we need to let them take a breath. And it's not more of labeling it a timeout. I use, do you need a minute to yourself instead of saying timeout? Do you need to go to your room and take a minute for yourself? And that's another good way to approach it. But when we think about children's age, so a 2-year-old, we would give them 2 minutes, a 3-year-old, 3 minutes. You know, something that goes along the general rule is, but how old they are. You wouldn't put a 2-year-old in a timeout for 10 minutes. So, you know, a 5-year-old can go in for 5 minutes, and then the child should be quiet before they leave that quiet space. But I do think a great way of approaching it is saying, do you need a minute to yourself? Do you need to take a break and go in for yourself, and then come back when you've calmed down? So do we have any questions about anything that we talked about today regarding ignoring behavior, talking about what is an appropriate timeout? I know a lot of times families have questions about that, about timeouts. Does anyone have any questions?
Don't be shy.
Don't be. I love to answer all sorts of questions.
I think the ignoring behavior is probably the hardest sometimes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that's where I have always gotten caught up in it, because it's like, I can't ignore the behavior that's, for lack of a better word, driving me crazy. That's probably my biggest struggle.
I know, and I bet any families that are out there that are seeing this, they're like, yeah, we've been home for 4 months. I can't ignore the behavior anymore. I'm done.
I ignore it.
It's hard, and children know our weak spots. They're a detector for what moods that we're into, and they do like to poke at us. So doing those ignoring things and walking away, I remember I used to do it with my son when he was 2, and like he would literally be crawling through the kitchen, screaming, crying for me to come back, like, you know, because I was just ignoring him. It's super hard and it takes time, but they get it after a while.
So we do have a question in the chat that says, what's the difference between timeout and time in? How do we teach them to handle such strong emotions?
Well, it is a work in progress. So like I said, like the example that I give a lot of families is, I don't like the word timeout. I don't like, and that's just my opinion. I like to say, you know, do you need a minute to yourself? So teaching children self-regulation, so how to, you know, some children go from 0 to 10 and they get all upset. And so saying, you know, let's talk about why you're upset. Okay. And if the behaviors just keep escalating and they're still so mad and they're still so crying, taking that minute, and that's why I say, do you need a minute for yourself? Going in the room, letting all those emotions out. And most children, 2 or 3 minutes, they're over that and they move on. But I think that it really teaches them self-regulation. It's not really used as a punishment. It's used for them to self-regulate themselves, calm themselves down. And sometimes we hope that they think about what led them to that explosive behavior, the meltdown, the crying. Does that help?
I think so. Do you want to follow up if it didn't answer the question? Or does anybody else have any other questions? That was a good one. They're all good questions.
Yeah, that is a really good question. It is hard too, and you really like get yourself, I think once children learn, and it takes a few times to get them to understand that taking a breather for themselves, I think once they get used to doing that, it's all about that self-regulation. And I feel like that's one of the most important skills we need to teach young children, is how to calm themselves down how to recognize when they're mad and what makes them mad. So I've always practiced that. Go into the room, take a minute, take a break, and then come back down and we can talk about what is making you so upset, because I can't understand you if you're bawling your eyes out or yelling at me. I can't understand that. So I want to solve your problem, but I need to be able to talk to you. I can't understand tears sometimes.
So, and that's probably, you know, all of these things are normal, typical developing behaviors, but during COVID, you know, part of it is that we're all together all the time.
Right.
So that just kind of sometimes brings out the behaviors more often.
Right, I agree. Because you're also so been home with each other for so long, and there is, especially if families that are working at home too, there really is not a big balance anymore. That whole balance piece is out the door. So maybe taking a walk, doing something, you know, kind of like if you've exhausted that, go to your room, or let's take a minute for yourself, maybe going for a walk or going and sitting outside, going to pick some flowers, and like kind of letting out those deep breaths too.
I just think, and I think that's so important, because even ourselves, like we talk about self-care all the time, we talk about those things. Our children are going through the same thing. As much as sometimes we say we want to get back to normalcy, I think sometimes my kids are tired of seeing me. So
Right.
Just think about it, the less they're seeing, they might miss their grandparents or their classmates or all of those things. So
I agree. And I think that's hard too. And I think that there's a lot of criticism about children going back to school, but young children thrive on being around other kids. That's where they learn a lot. They learn friendship skills. They learn self-regulation. That social piece is so huge to kids. And so I think that's why there's such an important push for to be able to get them back safely, because they do need it.
a very good point.
Like activities open for kids right now, so they are home.
No, and definitely where they can go safely. You know, we, you know, every child is different, so their threshold of what they can handle in the new guidelines is difficult. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm so excited to have such a nice group here today. Go ahead, Bethann.
I want to share a couple great resources. If you haven't heard of it, there is
Bethann, on your screen, is it, because on ours, or for what I see, it's kind of not clear. Is it clear on yours?
It is clear on mine. Can you see this screen? Can you see this?
It's pixeled out.
So weird. I don't know what it is. So I'll just stop share, and then I can just give you the information.
And then we'll share it.
Yeah, so there's a center called the National Pyramid of Innovation. So it's all about supporting families on social emotional development. And it's a great website that has great materials to share. Let me just try sharing my screen one more time and see if it works. Can you see that?
Sorry, I was going to the thing. Yes, yep, all cleared up.
Okay. So these are great websites here, the challenging behavior. You can just Google backpack series, and they have, you know, how to talk to your children about emotions, how to give directions, how to have a good routine at home. There's probably like 20 different topics that you can use, and I think it's a great tool for parents. The CDC positive parenting, so a lot of videos that I shared, I think I said in the beginning that they came from the CDC. They also have great resources for families. I know that families have been inundated with resources, but I think one important resources that all family needs is how to deal with social emotional development, because that is something that our children need to grow and be strong. And so these are great resources to use. I think that's super important. Any questions?
I'm going to really encourage everybody out there to take a look at this, the backpack series, right?
Yeah.
tremendous set of resources there that you can go through at your own pace. Tons of different topics and information. So it's a really, they're both good resources, but that I looked at it last time you were with us, and what great information. So I'm just taking a look. I don't think we have any questions on Facebook, which we don't, but we thank everybody for joining us out there.
Yes, thank you.
And just before we go, does anybody else have any questions? Just making sure. Hi, Gary. Thanks for coming again this week.
Hi, Gary.
I love to see everybody. Phyllis too. But those who haven't been with us before, thank you so much for coming out. So let me tell you what we have going on at CPAC right now on our outreach Zoom calls. We do have a Spanish support call on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. We also have the English outreach calls, which we have guest speakers too. So thank you, Bethann, for being this week's speaker and coming back. This is your second time with us, actually fourth time with us you've been in great contact with everybody. So thank you. So every Tuesday at 3 p.m. and Thursdays at 3 p.m., we also have our English support calls where we just kind of sign in and talk about our current topics. We also have our Next Step Leadership Training, which is really just an overview of your rights, the laws, advocacy for children with special needs. It starts in Spanish next Wednesday, so if anybody's interested in taking it in Spanish, please reach out to us. And our English version started a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what week they're in, but we will, if it's a series that you're interested in, we'll have another one starting in the fall, so please reach out to us. We have 14 parent consultants who are here to help you. So please feel free to call us if you have any questions. We know there's a lot going on. It's summer right now, but as we prepare to get ready for school, you might have more questions. You might watch a video and it might come up that you want more information. Again, just reach out to us. We are here in many different ways, and we have parent consultants that speak Portuguese, Haitian Creole, and Spanish as well as English. So, and if you need help in another language, we'll use the language line to help you. So we are there for all of you as needed. Anyway, thank you so much for coming, and we will see you all again.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, I'm sorry, Thursday. Bye, Bethann. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.